Alright, hello everybody. The game hasn't loaded. There it is! Right, welcome everybody to the League of Dracula 2025. It's the final, and it's the tiebreaker between RToWin and Pizzawizard. Let's get some hype going. As I said yesterday, after over 3 months, more or less, of competition and 190 games, and then each of these players have played about 20 or 24 games each, it's all just come down to one game. Whoever wins this game wins the whole thing, and it's as simple as that. Let's get some hype going. We've got Determinate in the chat, Ripmice is in the chat, Snuff's in the chat. Let's go. We got Arukamania and Mr. Green back again for this. Hello, gents. How are we doing?
Well, I'm doing well, as I mentioned before. I'm more than alive. uh, this should be really exciting. Let's hope for a Dracula win. So my prediction that Pizzawizard wins is correct.
Oh, that's controversial. Well, we're going to the first week. We can chat about that a bit. It looks like the players are ready, so we can get underway.
Yeah, let's go. Get hyped. Sorry, I was not ready to be hyped before. I had to open up the game.
So yeah, obviously, spoilers for yesterday, but each player won a game each. There were two very different games. We can kind of summarize them very quickly in the first week until something happens. But yeah, RToWin won as hunters, and then Pizzawizard won as hunters. So and RToWin had the IDS advantage, so he has picked hunters. Will it be? That's the thing, right? Who's going to win this? Is it going to be Pizzawizard with his second League of Dracula victory, and therefore tying with me on 2 wins? Or will RToWin be a new name in the Hall of Champions? We'll find out very soon. And I think my game might have bugged again, so let's just reload that. Crazy War Hero, welcome. Thank you for the follow. You're here at the right time for the final. Welcome, welcome in. Feel free to say how you found us. Anywho. So yeah, we're talking about it. So, Mr. Green, you were clearly on Pizzawizard's side a little bit.
Just a little bit. It would be fun either way. Let the best man win, but a Dracula win would also be a nice ending on a tournament.
Oh, so you're saying if it was flipped the other way, Pizza was playing Hunters, you would be siding with RToWin then?
Yes. Well, yes. Maybe a little less because you forced me to make a prediction. I predicted Pizzawizard, so for that reason,
you're bound to it now.
At this point, I might do another prediction if you would have asked me.
Oh, no backseas, no backs. I'm only joking. Rook, what about you? Have you got any? Did you vote yesterday? Have you got any particular favoritism here?
Well, I did vote yesterday, but the vote yesterday was about who we thought was likely to win. I mean, I voted who I wanted to win, so it doesn't really matter. I'm rooting for Pizzawizard. That's because the way that I root for people is based purely on, how much interaction I've had with them, basically. And so, when you and Strider are both around, I'm rooting for the two of you. Strider first. I've known him longer. Scott Sword second. I mean, Scott Sword usually is the one who wins. He's won every tournament he's participated in, so there is that.
Not that I ever mention it.
No. Everyone else brings it up for you.
Exactly. I mean, in the prediction yesterday, I did say RToWin would win in a tiebreaker. Not that I doubt Pizzawizard's ability, because obviously Pizzawizard, I mean, even if Pizzawizard loses this game, his legendary status in the community is already guaranteed. Like, he's just been so consistently, he's just been so consistent over these years. I know he hasn't won anything since 2023, but, he's always been in the conversation, regardless of what's been happening, with him and his life and whatever. He's always been participating and has been always very consistent. So, that's not in doubt at all.
Yeah, and I will say, right, if this is the year that we get someone who's new to the community who shows up and grabs the title, and it's a completely new name for the world champion, that's another great outcome, right?
Absolutely.
So sort of like Mr. Green. It's not like I have a huge like investment in Pizzawizard winning this. I just feel a little bit more strongly that I'd like him to win because of, I talked about, I think in the first game, I talked about how he was sort of like one of the early heroes of my channel, along with JB Philly. Saved me from an atrocious live stream. And was very, supportive and understanding as everything sort of was on fire around me. It felt like. So, there is that sort of weighs on the scales for me personally. But again, right, like I think RToWin has proven to be an incredibly competent player. Like as far as this community is concerned, just coming out of nowhere, like that's an amazing story, and it would be no shame at all if he was able to take the victory. Also, holy smokes! How's that for some hired scouts?
Well, that was local rumors. It wasn't even hired scouts.
Local rumors. Okay.
Oh.
That's really good for trying to talk and pay attention at the same time.
That is just. Oh, I do not believe. I mean, oh, goodness sake. I mean, that's just jammy. That is.
But it's not a good start when you wanna start in England for sure.
No. You kind of wanna be at least undetected for a little bit. We did say before the first game yesterday, is England potentially viable against this start? And maybe Pizzawizard wanted to mix it up a bit after the Iberia thing didn't work out. This is not the start you would have wanted. That's very unfortunate. But there's still a long way to go. Well, even though Dracula's been discovered, I'll chip in. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same in the sense I don't know a huge amount about RToWin. I'm hoping at some point we can get him onto my channel. We can have a friendly game and we can just chat about his origins with the game and whatnot. But obviously, I mean, I know Pizzawizard fairly well because we've obviously played in every tournament together, and we've normally been towards the top end and having to, be in these sort of situations. But I just feel, if you look, like, obviously, based upon the seeding, the way they performed in the league phase, RToWin did play better in the league phase. He beat Pizzawizard 2-0 in the league phase, and, yeah, poor Pizzawizard is a little bit under the weather at the moment. And even in the 2 games yesterday, I don't know how you two feel about this, but even though RToWin lost the second game, it still felt like there was, like, a real plan there, and there was still like an assuredness about everything until towards the end, where it's just like hunters pile in, there's not much you can do about it. There was a lot of thought going into things and seemed a little bit more measured, even whereas Pizzawizard had a few issues, and then the whole Sophia Bats thing caused issues and could have easily been costly, and then you had the hoax material, blah blah. It just seemed like RToWin, even though he lost, was just a little bit more assured about everything. So I feel that will just be the edge then. For this one, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought it was very interesting that you had both players on afterwards for chat, and they were saying things along the same lines. I think RToWin was saying, like, this was basically the plan all along, until things suddenly went just a little bit wrong. And Pizzawizard was very gracious in saying he was benefiting from some unusual luck, so...
Absolutely. Who else we got in the chat? We've got the 2 Arnas are in the chat. Hello, welcome in. Yeah, bummer that this got revealed very early, so we haven't got, he hasn't got time to build up so much of a trail, but because he knows he's been discovered, then he maybe can adapt the encounters based upon the fact he's been discovered. Snuff is rooting for RToWin, just for variety. Yeah, so even, like, the closest we've had to, like, a newcomer really make a way, I mean... In the League of 2023, there were 6 people who made it to the final league, and Pizzawizard was the only one who had been like a tournament veteran in the sense they've already participated in tournaments. But then Pizzawizard ended up beating all of them. So, very close in the end, especially between him and Wizakajic. But in this, I think this circumstances are quite different, where there have been some newcomers who have come in, and they've done well, but it's not like all of the quarterfinals were 8 new players or something. There was a mix of veterans and newbies, and the fact that RToWin has just been consistent all the way through. But yeah, I agree with Snuff saying, yeah, Pizzawizard is one of the nice people in the community, and yeah, there's stiff competition for that, but Pizzawizard is just a lovely person all round. But you got like, yeah, that's also then, it's Britain versus America, so it's very hard for me not to side with the Brit. Hello, Tasmania J. This is even earlier. What, the discovery of Dracula, or just the game in general? But welcome in. How are you one of RToWin's friends? Is this who this is? But welcome in. You're very welcome in. New meta star? Yes, that's also true. You got the proponent of the Oktoberfest, and yeah, that's also a really cool thing as well. We were talking about that in the streams we had yesterday. If you want to watch them back, they're on Twitch or they're on my YouTube channel as well, and they're already up. And we were talking about that a bit, how interesting it is that this star is now. It's not really become meta because it seems to be not many players have adopted it compared to, like I was saying, when I used my hunter configuration, suddenly everyone started copying it. Maybe because I had the YouTube channel and everyone just saw it and they just copied it. I don't think many people have copied this star, but I've even said if I was to participate in a tournament again, I would want to try this setup and see what would happen. So, yeah. Okay, so Mr. Green, as the veteran here out of the three of us, what would be your sort of reaction to Dracula being discovered that far? If you're from the Dracula side, especially. Well, both sides, but especially as Dracula, you got this elaborate plan. I'm going to go into Britannica and do some nasty stuff, and then you get discovered day one. So how do you react to this?
Well, you have to react to what the hunters do. There is no real fear until they get at least a second hunter to England. And it all depends on what hand you have, because you must have had a hand that you thought was suitable to do England. You can do it with a bad hand, but and just hope to get good card. But I wouldn't think Pizzawizard would do that. So I think he has a plan already for his trail.
I guess the issue from like the Dracula side, well, I guess then the advantage for Hunter side, but then disadvantage for Dracula would be because the Hunters know that Van Helsing is the one with proximity. You're just gonna more likely than normal game. I mean, I normally would put combat events onto Van Helsing, but there are situations where maybe you just go, I won't bother because X, Y, and Z things happen. You need to do other stuff. But because you know Van Helsing's the one who's going to be immediately dealing with Dracula and the trail, you're going to just front load a lot of stuff. You're more likely to do that than you would normally. You're going to make sure he's got the escape routes and the planned ambushes and the things like that if they appear. And then also then item configuration too, because normally you just go with Van Helsing. He can have kind of whatever items he wants because he's not going to be dealing with Dracula. But now suddenly there's a lot more sort of item optimization choices involved. I don't know if you would agree with that or not. You might keep a dogs here because you go, I might actually need them to deal with the trail, rather than just throwing them away and keeping a weapon for later.
Well, yeah, you would have to make a choice of what items you keep, but also maybe your what you get will determine if you actually try to tackle the trail or just block Dracula from staying longer in England.
I've just seen there's a vampire lair on Mina, by the way. The mini renewed vigor. So see, obviously, as I said before, whoever wins this game is the world champion. It doesn't matter by how much IDS or it's just whoever wins, and that's it. As simple as that.
Final of finals.
Exactly, the final of final. The final to end, well, hopefully not to end all finals, because hopefully we'll have one next year. But we'll see.
The final to end this final.
Exactly. Exactly. I think the interesting thing with like this setup, and this is why we were talking about it, is the Oktoberfest does have a weakness in the sense that you don't have a hunter on close like coastal proximity to Britannica, so it's going to take them a little bit of time to get over there. So Dracula has a little bit more sort of room to maneuver in that sense, and time to plan a bit more. Yeah, sorry, no cheese. I had to disable it because the text was very broken.
Yeah, for England, you have October start can save a lot of day movement, but not on an England start. You're kind of a 1 day movement less in this case.
So given the like relatively fewer coastal like coverage options, would you as Dracula maybe be tempted to I know sometimes when you see a UK start, the temptation is to stick around as long as possible. Would you be maybe a little bit more tempted to go to sea a little earlier to try and get to another coast that's maybe unguarded, or would you just try and stick around again?
Personally, I will try to stick as long as I can until they invest in putting hunters towards England.
Yeah, I'd agree. You want to you've made that decision to stay there. If you start leaving, you're gonna take sea damage, and depending on how the hunters are equipped, even if another hunter goes across to Britannica to deal with the trail, the two on the mainland can still potentially find you very quickly if there's a hypnosis involved or renewed vigors and things. So you want to try and commit as long as possible, but the issue is if the hunters just play very defensively and don't, if Van Helsing just stays in London, then suddenly that spot cannot be occupied. If Seward goes across to deal with Edinburgh, then suddenly that doesn't mature and then doesn't free up those spaces afterwards. So it can just become very awkward as Dracula, where you don't, you just run out of room. There are not many cities in the UK. And then I'm saying UK, but like Ireland, you're gonna have to go across at least one sea space, and then there's potential CG traps and all this sort of stuff that can be very awkward. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what. Yeah, I don't know what. You as Dracula, you always have to plan that you're going to be discovered. But I don't know at what point Pizzawizard was expecting to be discovered. Not day one, I'd presume.
Yeah, probably not day one.
But even if newspapers reveals Edinburgh, I still feel that the game maybe pans out a very similar way, because Van Helsing could just decide, I'm not gonna move off London. You can have those 7 points, but maybe not because you haven't got the time. That's the thing, because he was discovered so soon. It means the other hunters, or one hunter like Seward, can move across earlier than they would be able to. If they got revealed with newspapers on Saturday at dawn, the hunters don't have enough time to get there unless they use 2 movement events. They just cannot get there in time, or need vigor. But yeah, it's just given Seward time. Seward can make it there. Can he?
Yeah, and it does look like, it does look like he's already on his way. So
yeah, he must be equipped then.
Yeah, that's what that would imply.
But there's no events though. There are no events on Seward. So no forewarned, no excellent weather, none of that stuff. So I don't know if Seward can get over there in time then.
Yeah, he can get in time, but if it's a bat, he will either need a rifle or dogs, or against a bat he will need Van Helsing to come in and deal with whatever is there.
Unless I just had a thought. I don't know if it'll be a good one. Bats in Edinburgh. You push Seward into Manchester, and then there's fog, so then Van Helsing can't get past.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Not often.
That would be...
I don't think anyone's done that combo before.
That would be quite a sequence of encounters.
I mean, he's got horses. The hunters are a bit event-light. Because they're doing 4 immediate events, and there's a few Dracula events on top too.
Yeah, encouraging that movement from Seward, I think, has influenced that.
Yeah, there are a couple of events down, but still, Seward's only now getting events because of a trade. Mina only has 1 event that she's revealing. Van Helsing is now only going to have probably 1 event. So yeah, they're a bit event-light, but if Mina and Gadami just keep supplying up, they're going to find good stuff. They're just going to...
That's true. I'm curious to see how much of this game is going to play out in the UK.
Yeah.
Because that's always sort of the question for me when you see this start is, how long is Dracula going to stay there, and what's his next move?
Yep, what's the follow-up? Dracula can run around in circles and leave, say, from North Sea or English Channel, say, and then you go to another sea zone and then go back in to Scotland or England or Wales and go round and round and round in circles. And if the hunters aren't expecting it, or if the hunters that are there are really beaten up, but then it'd be very interesting to talk to Pizzawizard afterwards if the rumour token, if it is a vamp in Edinburgh with rumour token, was he planning to do that, or was that a response to him being discovered? Because I feel like he's doing it because he wants Van Helsing to move off London. That's my gut feeling. but he's now run out of room, so he's going to have to do a Dark Call here or a Wolf form past Van Helsing. Because he's in Swansea right now, we know that.
Right. Yeah, we also got to find out, because of those hired scouts, which I think were actually hired scouts this time, that it was a hide as opposed to a second movement immediately.
Yes, that's right, yeah. You must have searched Edinburgh and Liverpool. That must have been what happened there. Yeah. Because you want to find out where... Because Dracula could have done something weird, like go from Manchester into Liverpool first, but then at that point the trail was short enough that he wasn't sure, but... That just made the trail even shorter, so you wouldn't do that. Again, it looks like it's going to be a very different game to the two we saw yesterday.
Definitely.
Could be... Well,
Although early...
You can do layers, though.
Early reveals do seem to be like a common thread through all three.
Yeah, that is the one thing.
No Dracula player has been able to really like stay hidden for the vast portion of the first week.
No, that's right. Actually, newspaper hasn't been needed. Oh wait! Whoa!
Whoa!
I get it.
Okay.
I mean, it makes sense. He doesn't want a Dark Call, right?
Who needs wolf form?
He's kind of protecting his trail a little. It makes Van Helsing less eager to run out and help no, not Pizzawizard, but Sword.
Oh, that's a good point.
If he can damage him.
Right.
He should.
Yeah, I think the other thing that we're seeing is, I think both of these players know that, you know, you have to take some risks to win the game. So this is definitely some risky maneuvering, but we'll see how it pays off.
I mean, I like the rumor token to potentially lure another hunter over to deal with it, but at the same time, if it does mature, you're just going to wipe the trail. So then you suddenly got... But then you can move back, but then Swansea's going to have to be misdirected. I don't know. This is very, very interesting. And this is like a very long... Is it just because the combat not started yet?
No, it hasn't started.
Oh, that's
okay.
why, because
we're seeing a planned ambush.
That was a very long think about planned ambush. I guess then Van Helsing's not going to stick around for the night fight if he's using planned ambush in the day. Unless there's an escape route or something.
Yeah, which is something that you were saying would get prioritized in this situation, so...
It's not going to be a huge gamble about what events and what items Van Helsing's got. Oh, the fact he just flipped that punch so fast makes me think he's got a Heavenly Host. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yep, there it is.
That flips so quickly. It's like, yep, you've got that. Alright, but no Aggie. So, obviously, Dracula can heal, unlike the game yesterday.
Yep, that's true.
I don't know if I like these type of moves, because the problem is, like, Van Helsing's full health, and it's you can't break his stuff, and the problem is you don't know what items he has, so you're just going to lose so much potential. Yeah, there's a knife.
Ooh.
Of course there's a knife. Yeah.
Wow. Terminus was expecting a holy circle.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like this gamble, personally, but...
The drawback is he can just block Plymouth as well, so you don't get any new encounters on the board.
Yeah. Unless you misdirect Swansea, you have to go back there, but you're losing an encounter. Yeah, I don't know. This is all very awkward. If you have an idea of what Van Helsing's got, then okay. But the problem is it just becomes a rock, paper, scissors game, and you can just easily lose all those 50-50s.
That's true.
Holy Circle now would be fantastic for hunters. Yep, I would say so. I would say so. I mean, you could even just hold the Holy Circle for... Keep Van Helsing where he is and supply, and then Holy Circle the night fight. But yeah, this is just... Yeah, that's devastating. Truly devastating.
I mean, combat is always a gamble, right? You can never quite tell how it's going to go, even with advanced knowledge, because a lot of, like, reading your opponent can come into things, and... what to expect, what not to expect, what even Dracula has in his hand, or what the vampires can do. Oh, now that's interesting.
Yeah. There's one Holy Circle in the discard, so there is one available, but maybe Van Helsing didn't draw it. How many cards are left in the deck? 11. I personally would be saving the Holy Circle for the night fight, because you can just stay put and supply rather than moving. That's just me, but yeah.
Yeah, but if you move now to Plymouth, you don't need to move later to Plymouth to take away the encounter there.
Well, that's true. Strength into. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's just so difficult because Dracula just can't Fang now because if he gets the 50, I mean, there's just dodge and knife, so Dracula's never getting health back here. He could feed in place. He could feed in place and try and do the knife fight, but I don't know. If Edinburgh is a desecrated soil, then this is maybe worth it. But I don't know. It's not amazing. Van Helsing just plays knife, right? Whoa.
Oh, okay.
That was such a risky fang. What is going on, Pizzawizard? That's just so risky.
Maybe the idea is it's so risky he'd never play it, and so he does.
I can just see that. I can just see him going down to 5 health.
Oh yeah.
And you get Heroic Leap tomorrow. Or tonight, even.
I hope not.
No, come on.
That would be
we want a long game. Come on, people.
That's right.
Make the victor sweat. You just play strength here, right? Oh, this is knife, right? Yep.
Oh man. Wonder what he took with that plotting.
The strength. Had to be a feat, the strength.
Huh.
Well, that didn't go well. This is why you don't do day combats.
Crazy.
Oh dear. The problem is if Hunters draw Heroic Leap here and Van Helsing trades it, then that's just GG. So we just have to hope he has, for our sake, that the game keeps going. Heroic Leap does not get drawn here, but if it does, it does. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. I mean, this gets back to, something I was saying about combat the other day, right? Which is, if you're really good at combat, that can compensate for some other things in an interesting way, right? Yeah. And even if, the positioning game, right, that can be a little bit more powerful on the whole, right? Like, don't underestimate the power of a strong combat. And it was a bats.
And there has to be a forewarned here, right?
I was thinking about it.
I mean, it was the most likely thing that Van Helsing would have traded to him.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Apparently not.
Yeah.
Unless he knows he's got Heroic Leap. Oh no! Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh no! Van Helsing's going. Ooh.
Interesting.
That is very interesting.
And it is a fighting vampire, so.
What's the situation here? One guy.
That was why he wanted to fight Van Helsing then to make him weak for. So this vampire has a chance to kill him.
Maybe, but the thing is, like, there's so many ways that can go wrong. If Sud has forewarned or
yes,
Van
but
Helsing's drawn Heroic Leap or whatever.
In general, a 1v1 as Dracula is kind of a not too scary matchup.
Right.
Well, he took a lot more damage than he expected, I assume.
Yeah, I don't think he planned on taking 10 damage in that fight.
No, he didn't. Well, at least the game's is not gonna end because we know Van Helsing's left, so there's no Heroic Leap going to happen. Claws into the knife. Okay.
Well, yeah. That's the other thing about the Dracula combat is that Van Helsing just has the knife.
Well, there's still an item we don't know about. I'm trying
that's
to,
true.
I mean, it could be a steak, but it could also be garlic. There's a crucifix that's missing. It could also just be a dog's or something. I don't know. That's the problem. We don't know what it is. It didn't get revealed. So.
Right. This is why I am not a pro level player.
So I don't know what. Yeah, the vampire here has to kind of kill Van Hel. I mean, but at the same time, if the vampire dies. I don't know,
There is kind of an indication that here the third item is a steak. Because if he hadn't, as he assumed it was an
strength into escape, right? Yeah. Ah.
Oh man.
This is just not going well for Pizzawizard. Holy moly.
No.
The combos haven't gone well for him for sure.
I mean, even the early local rumors.
No.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, there's the second crucifix. He had. I mean, we had this actually in the game they played in the league phase. It was in a different part of the map, but the same thing. Van Helsing had to die at a certain point, and just like if Van Helsing dies, then the hunters are really up against it. Sure, they had still good stuff, but Van Helsing can't be there to block and blah blah blah. And it was just and then he didn't die. But then there's one where Pizzawizard played a couple of leagues ago. It was the same thing. He was the one playing hunters. The Dracula put a horrendous trail in the UK, and I was sitting there in commentary going, Van Helsing's gonna die, and this is gonna be terrible. And then he didn't die, and then the hunters managed to steamroll the game. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the steak.
Yeah, that's brutal. That is brutal. In fact, Manchester's not got a mature effect. I mean, yeah, Dracula can heal. Well, feed, I should say. But still, he's on 8 health, and he's going to have to go to C. Yeah, this is going to be a rough game.
Definitely.
Yes, Gyro, Pizzawizard is Dracula. And the thing I don't like too, because of the high card was good because it got sued away from there, but because of the high card and then the fact that Manchester's not going to mature, the Hunters now have time to sort of, Van Helsing doesn't have to suddenly go into Liverpool today to deal with it. He can just sit there and heal up. Seward can become undelayed and then slowly go about dealing with the trail and whatever. They've got so much time. London doesn't have an encounter.
Yeah. Do you think he ambushed because he was scared of a fight, or because he was really hoping that Van Helsing didn't have a stake?
Oh, I think you have to ambush there because there's a chance you can kill Van Helsing. It's hard to get 4 damage onto a hunter, but if they don't have a stake.
But the ambush was after he knew that Van Helsing had slipped.
Your sister Agatha.
There she is. Being an absolute menace.
But he did an ambush to just lower the life because he was scared of Sword, or he was just betting on no stake?
Maybe just betting on no stake. I'm not sure. Snuff has just said what we're all thinking. This is so brutal.
Yes.
It really is.
Well, it's gonna be good to have a newcomer win the tournament, right?
Right, yeah. Change your tune now, haven't you?
It's never over until it's over.
True.
Well, it's gonna be really amazing if Pizzawizard pulls this off as well. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I
see what's likely to happen here.
Right, if Pizzawizard somehow manages to win this game, I think we're just gonna have to club together some money and erect a statue of him, because that would have just been insane. It's just, yeah. There's no way you let this slip now, right? Right?
It seems like the Hunters have it pretty well in hand, but you never do know.
No.
would you be thinking of as Dracula in this situation?
Do I dare go to Plymouth or not?
Mm.
Yeah, I think you just still go anyway. Did Van
Yeah,
Helsing?
yeah.
Van Helsing doesn't have a ticket. Oh, he does have a. Oh, he does have a ticket. Sorry, so he might be able to get there.
Yeah, but he's weak, so yeah, you
it's
have to take the risk.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, you have to. You have to. Yeah, maybe even hide in Plymouth, and maybe. I mean, it looks like Sud probably has a stake. The fact he came over so fast like that.
And they have used.
How many?
No, they didn't use the forewarned. Never mind.
No, there was no forewarned. Oh, there's only one
Just
stake
thought
in
about it.
discard, by the way. So there are 4 item cards left in the deck, but. Somebody says RToWin, besides being talented, also seems to get really lucky. I mean, the way I kind of feel, like, you make your own luck sometimes, but there are going to be moments where you just go, the game just kind of wants me to win.
Yeah.
It's the same as you determine it when you're playing Wingspan and you get all of those full tuck birds in your hand. And when I try and do full tuck, I get nothing to cap off the wetlands. So yeah. You just sometimes the game just manifests in your advantage, but you have to be in a position to be able to play it. But then again, RToWin took the risk to play. Well, he played Plan Ambush, so the Heavenly Host was guaranteed. But I guess the knife is just because it's not a night combat, so playing knife is just such a risk-free thing to do because you know it can't get broken.
Right.
That's why I just don't like these day fights. But I get it. You need to do something risky. Because otherwise it could be.
Yeah, I mean, if Pizzawizard had happened to have the read on that fight and managed to kill Van Helsing, this game would look very different.
Right. Right. He must have played strength there because there was nothing else he was going to play. Unless he thought he had a rifle. Maybe didn't have fangs either. He'd already played 1 claw, so maybe didn't have the second one. Was maybe worried about the mesmerize, like into punch perhaps, but I don't think you punch there personally, but I could be wrong. It was a tough one. We don't know what his hand was, and that's the big issue there.
Yeah, that's always the problem with trying to analyze vampire combat is you don't really know what their options were.
Right.
He could always have been scared of a second Heavenly Host because that would really have sucked.
That's true. That's true.
Of course, the knife would have been almost as bad, so...
RToWin seems to be thinking about this, so what would you do with Seward here?
I guess he's thinking about, does he want to pressure Dracula early, or does he want to just clear the trail? I feel because Dracula's in such a poor position anyway, I would maybe just go to Liverpool. Alternatively, what you could do is actually just go to London with Seward and block it. And then Van Helsing could potentially go to Liverpool, and then Seward deals with Swansea if Van Helsing can't. Okay, he's using a rail tick, which makes me think he's going to go in onto Plymouth. Nope.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, there it is.
Ooh, does he think he can just kill Dracula here? I mean, Dracula's not on 5 health, so Heroic Leap. But I mean, if he has Heroic Leap, that's still pretty good, because it just, you know, Dracula's already used Feed. He can't hide now. Well, he can, but he can't put out an encounter.
Yep. If he does have a forewarned, it'll be interesting to see if he uses that. Yep, on the mob.
Yep, he does. Which is why he didn't use it on the bats, because he knew Van Helsing could get there. But it was risky though, because if Van Helsing died in the combat, unless there's great strength, I would not be surprised if there's great strength, because I don't know if you send a 4 health Van Helsing in to what would probably be which could well be a fighting vampire. Unless you have great strength. That's my gut feeling.
And there's Sister Agatha in play.
Alright, for this coming combat, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, obviously, again, we have no idea what Seward has. Apparently, he doesn't have a gun because he didn't reveal one for the rats, but maybe it was all a ruse, which I would not be surprised. So again, we're just doing coin flips again. RToWin won all of them in London and then in Edinburgh. So let's see if he wins all of them here.
Let's find out. It'll be tough.
I was like, well,
guessing in the dark.
Dracula could maybe find a Heavenly Host and get healing, but no, because Aggie's there. But it's just like, yeah, Dracula has to... The only way... I mean, unless Dracula somehow kills Seward, which I cannot imagine him doing, with Seward being on 9 health, is Dracula has to try and fang the Heavenly Host so he takes no damage. That's all he can... Like, that's the best case scenario for him.
Yeah, that is absolutely Dracula's ideal case, is fanging a Heavenly Host. Which, if you're Seward, do you even play it?
Maybe not. Hunter's only objective here is don't die. If Seward takes 8 damage and Dracula, takes even only a couple, that's still good because all this damage is going to stick. Because unless there's a Desecrated Soil that we're not aware of, Dracula's already fed. There's Aggie in play, so he's not getting any feeding or any health back. So any damage is just going to stay for ages, and then he has to go to sea and all this sort of stuff.
Straight for the fangs.
Oh, he got it!
Oh, he got it!
He got it!
Oh, yes!
Well,
and then...
Dracula needed a win.
Yeah. I mean, still...
It's still probably too little too late, but...
Oh, it's still probably too little too late, but I'm hype anyway.
For sure.
I mean, the game carries on, so that's
so
good.
many times. I watch a lot of Pizzawizard's videos, and so many times he hesitates to play the fangs on turn 1 because he wants like a sure thing, or hesitates to play the Heavenly Host. Yeah. And he just threw it out, and he got it. It was the ideal scenario. Now, again, it's a small part in a bad overall situation, but still. And Captain Gyro with the callback, fang.
It keeps him alive, right? Because obviously if that Heavenly Host lands, he's on 4 health, and then suddenly all it takes is 1 weapon, then he can't go to sea anymore, and then he just dies in the UK by, in maybe like 2 or 3 days' time. Whereas he's still, he's relevant.
Going back to London.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to have to now, especially since, Plymouth can't hide. Yeah, I mean, the Desecrated Soil is, hopefully Pizzawizard had foresight that this could have gone south and that there's some Desecrated Soils in here. Because if he can get a soil or 2, then suddenly it's like, well, you reset the board, basically, and you go back to the starting positions, more or less.
Except they're down one of the 4 warns now.
That's true. That's true.
And then probably at most 1 Desecrated Soul is gonna go through, so...
Yeah, wax cylinders in discard, by the way. Just in case Roscoe's watching.
I forget, if you fang the Heavenly Host, is it discarded or do they keep it?
No, if
they keep it, right?
You keep... No, you discard it.
Oh, it's discarded.
You only keep the Heavenly Host if it's a night combat and it's Mesmerize Fang. Because that bites you before Heavenly Host triggers. It's a weird, interaction.
Oh, he's going straight for it.
Yeah.
They have the fog is the question.
But wait. He didn't trigger Van Helsing. What is going on? What is happening? Why is there no ambush? Please don't tell me he misclicked. Oh, please don't.
Maybe he bluffed a fog. Maybe it is nothing encounter.
Oh, he has a second plan ambush.
Oh, man.
Well, that's game done.
This might be it, yeah.
Alright, GG, folks. Have a good one. No, I'm joking. Oh, flippin' heck. Oh, Manchester's a lair. He can go back to Manchester. Oh, well. Can he get... Yeah. Why is he not ambushing?
Van Helsing only has a knife.
Well... No, he's got 3 items. No. He's got 3 items.
He's been supplying. Yeah. This is why I don't play the game.
But the problem is you can't...
This is why I just come on to do some color commentary.
But what's the betting he's supplied another Heavenly Host? That would just be... typical.
He was betting on RToWin would think it was a fog that he placed down.
Yeah, probably he was.
Maybe
Well,
has
he called
no
the bluff.
ambush encounters. So you got all 3 aristocrats and both hoaxes in your hand. That's poor, hand management, if that's the case. You need to lair one of them. You need some sort of aggressive encounter here. Oh dear. I really hope he didn't misclick, because that'd be really awkward.
Yeah, for sure.
Whiteclaw Van Helsing? Maybe he thinks he doesn't have a gun, but it's just, I don't know. The problem is you don't know what either of them have, really. Because Sud only revealed Heavenly Host, so... He must have drawn one? Maybe. Oh, what's going on here?
Oh, he went for a
He's
knife.
saying GG already! Oh, is there a second Heavenly Host? Oh no, he maybe just realizes that he can... Wait. Why is he calling GG already? That is... I mean, he has great strength, but that doesn't kill him. Oh, is there holy bullets?
Ooh.
Oh no! Is Pizzawizard actually gonna die to holy bullets?
Yeah, that would be amazing.
It would be fitting.
Oh no, it's not. It's Heavenly Host.
Heavenly Host.
Oh my
okay,
goodness.
so not quite, but I still think this is.
Yeah, because he can't heal because of fucking
There's
Aggie.
no. Yeah, Sister Agatha is the nail in the coffin here. Yeah.
Everything went right for RToWin. This was fated. Yeah, clearly, I don't know. I don't want to say there's been some divine intervention, but there's clearly been something going on. I think someone's passed on the Nomad codes. Oh, well, you killed Van Helsing. You got points on the board. Van Helsing. There you go. Good stuff. Oh, well.
Yep.
GG.
And he dies to a knife.
Yeah.
That was, not what we expected.
Yeah.
Sometimes Fury of Dracula gives you games like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's never quite what you expect.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, I wonder how rattled Pizzawizard would have been from those local rumors. The crowd goes wild. They're like, wow, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, no ambush and very unexpected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Right. Okay. RToWin has joined. We'll wait in for Pizzawizard. Oh no, maybe he's left. Oh, you're very welcome, Arna. Sorry, it wasn't like a really long game. We had 2 long games yesterday. This one was a little bit more of a train wreck from Dracula's side, unfortunately, but it's okay. It was still very fun. Hello, RToWin.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
It's a straight stake to the heart. Congratulations to our new champion.
Absolutely, congratulations.
Yes,
It's made easier. It's made easier to play against the Britannica start when you draw local rumors on round 1.
I was going to say that was. I mean, I said as a joke. Someone's giving you the Nomad codes to the event deck.
No, but you see, I wouldn't choose, like, even if I could choose what events I want where, I wouldn't choose local rumors to be a third card.
Except
Right?
in this very circumstance.
Yes, except when Dracula is actually in Britannica. Then I want local rumors in the third position.
Well, what were you thinking at that moment when you suddenly saw that pop up?
Well, it makes my Valona search look pretty stupid. I'm just kidding. No, I was like, great, this is glorious, and it was even better. I had forewarned, so maybe not quite yet, but I drew it like next turn. So, even if it's fog on top of a vampire, I only actually need 100 to go and deal with it. My biggest problem for a while was the stakes were all at the bottom of the deck. Like, I was standing in Munich, and I was like, if I just wait one more turn, I'll draw a stake, right? I haven't drawn any so far. There must be one coming. But no, and so I sent Seward off with Heavenly Host Knife, under the pretense, and horse obviously, I didn't want to have 3 horses left supplied into Munich without Stuart being there. Under the pretense that one of those heavenly hosts was really a stake, but it's just a stake for a funny name.
Well, we'll get back to you in a second, because I think there'll be plenty of time to chat to you, and you can bask in your glory. You can do a lap of honor for a second while we talk to Pizzawizard. Hello, Pizzawizard. Commiserations, as I said in the beginning, regardless of what the result was going to be, your legendary status in the community is very much still assured. But talk us through that.
You're too kind.
What happened? Come on, we'll hug it out. What happened?
Well, I think I got my just desserts. I think that I spent my whole career saying England is bad, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna try England, and I figured out England is in fact bad. On my end of the board, I was really hoping I was going to have a hoax from opening hand. I had an elaborate plan. If I had a hoax, I was like, I am going to get a hoax mature, and that is how I will throw the game. And then I didn't get a hoax. And I was like, okay, it was unlikely to happen anyway. We'll go to plan B. Plan B was I was going to go to England. And I had practiced it. I don't know if you noticed me practicing it against someone else in a public lobby. I think it was a foolish mistake to do it publicly. But I was practicing England a little bit so I could like tip my toes in and see what it felt like. Mm-hmm. And it felt okay. And I was like, if I do England, it means I'm going to have to probably move into Van Helsing. Like, I always plan to move into Van Helsing. And I was like, I'm going to have to do that. And that could go really bad. But I think that we've played out Spain, I think the two of us privately, I mean, not privately, but like in these tournaments, I think we have done the Spain thing where I go Spain and you're Hunters and you've reacted against me multiple times. And I'm sure you've done it. Other people have also gone Spain against you. You've done that so many times. I was like, I am not going to go Spain again. Like, I'm just not going to do it. I need to do something else. I need to try to throw something in the works, a spanner in the works. So I did think about going east. I think the east check was actually really good. But again, I've kind of gone the east a lot. I was like, I want to do something different. What is like the weak point of this strategy? And I was thinking, there's no one on the west coast. So it will take, even if they go up to like Hamburg, it takes them 2 moves to get there unless they have a movement event. And then it takes them 2 moves to get on
specifically.
Yes,
like,
I don't think it's emergency does it, right?
Touch it. Yeah, correct.
You can't go Nuremberg, Leipzig, Hamburg. No,
it doesn't. I think it doesn't.
Does not work. Okay, got it. Well, okay.
No, it does. It does connect. Sorry, my mistake. Yes, Nuremberg, Leipzig, Hamburg. It's something you said. My mistake. Yeah, sorry.
No, don't worry about it at all. But that's so. Yeah, I was like. It takes them maybe a little bit longer to get to England. And then if they're going to spend forever like sorting out their items, they won't move immediately because they have to sort their items somewhat. So I was like, what if England is maybe slightly better? So I was going to try England. My opening hand was not very good. I think it had double Saboteur, Rats, Vampire, and Bat. And I was like, okay, that is the ultimate England. I just go a Vampire. I put Bats on it. I put Bat encounters after it. And I really just hope that the Vampire matures. And I do everything in my power to make that happen. So that was the plan. And it all went according to plan until day 1 when Van Helsing drew local rumors. And I was like, oh no, this is bad. Now, number 1, I could just add a CG, because you would then know my entire movement from then on, I felt like. So I was like, if he just has CG and 3 Heavenly Hosts, like on day, I think 3 or 4, whenever I go back to Manchester after hiding at Edinburgh, I was like, he could just kill me here, and that would be a really anticlimactic way to lose. But also, Van Helsing now has the knowledge that I'm on England. So he is going to keep items with that in mind, which makes it less likely he'll be like, oh, I have, I don't know, 2 horses or 2 stakes, and I'm going to hold on to the 2 stakes because I want to bring them over to the mainland. Like, it's a different mindset, I feel like, if you know you're going to be, like, in close combat with Dracula. I was really worried you'd keep, like, a Holy Circle or something in a reminiscent of our first game. I was like, he might actually keep Holy Circle since he knows I'm on England. And then, obviously, the Van Helsing fight went very poorly. You played it very well. Yes.
Was Aggie in play at that point? I forgot.
No, she was not in play.
Not in play, yeah. It was just Dawn.
I was very happy Agatha was not in play. I was part of the reason I was like, okay, part 1 of the plan went well. I've gotten to like Saturday, I think it was. Saturday or Sunday. Or maybe it was Friday. I had gotten to the point where I was going to go on Van Helsing and there was no Agatha. And I was like, I am in. This is the winning timeline. I just need to not mess up the fight. And then you had a plan ambush, which I knew you'd have because I saw it on Mina. I knew you'd give it to Van Helsing. But I was really hoping that in the world of my items are always consistent because I have 3 hunters together, that 4th hunter's items would not be very good. I was really hoping that he got, I think, 5 or 6 supplies. I was hoping they would not be that good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, his items were very good, and you played them very well. And that left me on 5 HP, taking 10 damage to dealing with Van Helsing 4. It was not a good combat for me, even though there was a planned ambush expended.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah,
And then...
I thought you.
Oh,
I'll
go
let
ahead.
you finish. Let you finish.
No, no,
Yeah,
go
I'll let you
ahead.
finish. I'll let you finish.
All right,
Okay,
well, and
I
then...
thought
go ahead. You got it, I believe. What did you think? I'm curious.
I presumed that you would think that I had the poor, because I haven't had that many supplies. It's just Van Helsing its alone. Like I would presume that you would think you might have like a rifle or a pistol and maybe something else not great. And therefore, given that I had drawn really well, I did have the knife, the heavenly host. If I just play them, I probably actually might win at rock paper scissors. Anyway, sorry, you continue.
Well, but you did. That's exactly how it played out. And then I think I took a second knife. I took the knife 2 times in that fight, like an idiot. The first time, I get it. I was trying to get health back. The second time, maybe a little bit less excusable. Very good rock paper scissors playing by you. Van Helsing gets away on 4 HP. He's not even like really that low. And then I'm like, man, Seward is left early enough, and he has one item. One event. Does he have forewarned? I'm thinking maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But I thought maybe he had excellent weather. Maybe that I was before he moved. I was like, maybe he's just gonna excellent weather across. But no, he moved normally. So I was like, that's probably forewarned. What else is he giving Seward before he comes over here that he doesn't want on Van Helsing? Like if it's a combat event, I feel like you just keep it on Van Helsing. I could have also just been dead to heroic leap there. When the combat went that poorly, I also just realized if you just have heroic leap on Van Helsing, I also just die. Thankfully, it wasn't the case. But that's why I fed immediately, because I was so worried that you would somehow draw it on somebody and Van Helsing would just trade it over and I would just lose immediately that way. And then what else? Well, I was thinking about, am I supposed to leave England immediately? Am I supposed to go to Plymouth? I think that I needed to keep the threat of staying in England alive. I think that if I just go to sea there, it's bad.
Yep. It's too nice hunters, yeah.
So I went to Plymouth and I put down mob because I thought there was a chance Seward, after getting batted, would come after me that day. I was like, there is some chance he'll do it, so I'll put in a mob to protect myself. You obviously had the forewarn, which you played to great effect. I did not expect double Heavenly Host, but I did think he probably had at least one, given that he was with the item conglomeration over there in Munich. I was like, he probably has a Heavenly Host. And I was very happy when I nailed that round 1. That for me was like there might be light at the end of this tunnel, like the fact that I did not essentially get crippled in that fight. I was like, maybe there's a chance. Up to this point, I've been, putting down encounters. There's like a saboteur in Liverpool. There's a spy in Swansea. Nothing's been really great. And at this point in the game, I still haven't drawn a fog or a vampire. And I'm like, well, I can put down nothing in London. I think I have like a bodyguard and a spy in my hand. So I'm like, there is nothing I can put in London that if they both decide to jump on me tomorrow will like really guarantee my safety. So I really hoped that you wouldn't do it, that you would be too scared of the fog and think that you had the inevitability and that you wouldn't jump on me immediately. So I was like, you know what I should do? He's used to Heavenly Host in England already. What if the third one's on Meaner or Gnoming? I'll put down Desecrated Soil. And then if I live, it was like the long-term play of if I don't get jumped on today, and I can like maybe go back to Manchester or I can maybe go to sea, they might not be able to deal with this if they don't have a Heavenly Host on this side of the channel. Obviously, you decided, no, I'm getting him today. And that meant that I was stuck there with sadness in my heart. Did Van Helsing have the second forewarned? Is that why he was just like, I'm going in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
This makes sense.
Yeah, I think the event distribution was a little awkward. Like the wrong people kept drawing the events, but Van Helsing therefore can just nick them very easily. So like the second forewarned came from Godalming, I think.
Got it. That makes sense. I was really hoping you'd be too scared of the fog, but if you have a second forewarn in your pocket and John Seward already got in, you're golden. Just go in there. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's me. That's my side of the game. I think I got what I deserved. Darkness loses. Isn't that a heartwarming message for the world?
It just feels like, obviously there's not to take anything away from you RToWin for winning the game and the tournament in general, but it feels like it's unfortunate this was like the third game, but it feels like just sometimes the game is destined for one person or the other, right? If you're not drawing like even decent encounters, it's just like, man, this is just but I agree with your risk taking, like going to Plymouth then going back to London. You had to commit to your plan. you committed to it. It hadn't quite worked. I was like, but if you leave, it'll just be a slow death. And I feel like just committing and just hoping you could trick your opponent is the way. I think that's the way to. I think that's the way to go about it. I think you did it the right way.
You're doing me a great kindness here, and I think that there are definitely like games where the event deck is just like blessed by the hunters, and they get all the events they need, and they they get both renewed vigors, and they get the CG. I think maybe our first game, not in this best of 3, but in our original fixture, where he had everything, I felt that way about that game. I do not feel that way about this game. I feel like he didn't really use either RV. He didn't use CG. I mean, I got by the item deck kind of getting him good things, but I feel like I was very fairly beaten. It feels very fair. This does not feel like a Hunter OP game. This felt like a I got outplayed by the RToWin over there. I think I appreciate you being like, the Hunters were destined to win this game, but I think that might be doing RToWin a little bit of a disservice because he truly did bring it home.
Well, can you? So when Wizardkajik says in the Discord that Hunters are OP after looking at the results of this final, can we just then say it's RToWin is RP?
This is not a Hunter OP game by any stretch.
I think it was a Hunter's lucky game, like drawing local rumors on round 1. So I then know that I'm fighting Botanica.
So annoying.
I can choose when I want Seward to leave for Botanica. Like really the expectation when you start in Botanica is like most of the time you're discovered on round 5 by newspaper reports. And then it's on Van Helsing to clear like the first 3 locations, and then Dracula can still stick around in England because London's just been vacated. But instead, round 1 versus round 5 is a huge, or round 6 is a huge difference.
Just the mindset of you being able to prepare for it, like you said, move Seward earlier. I've really never gone England. I do not like England at all. I think England is bad. I think I've gone on stream saying I think England is bad. I was really hoping that like on a player versus player level, you would not think I would go England. I was like, I think this might be one of the furthest things from his mind outside of Ireland, which was my plan to fight hoax, by the way. I was totally gonna go Ireland with a hoax, but without a hoax, not doing Ireland. Ireland terrible. I was really hoping it would catch you off guard, and then the local rumors kind of took away that very, very. I mean, it was what, the second action of the game. Seward drew it. No, it was Van Helsing. It had to be because it was local rumors.
Yeah.
Third supply of the game. I was like, oh, well, this is not great, but not great. It's okay. Very well deserved, though. Congratulations, by the way. I didn't say when I joined the call because you guys were talking. I didn't want to interrupt, but congratulations on winning. Congratulations on being the League of Dracula 2020. I'm sure everybody else has been saying it, but I want to say it too. Congratulations, you deserve this.
Thanks, Pizzawizard.
How do you feel RToWin? Obviously, congratulations again for winning, but then also just like in general, you've taken the community by storm. You joined maybe like what, a month or 2 before the tournament, and obviously we hadn't had a chance. I think we maybe played one game against each other, but I just kept talking to people and be like, "There's this new player called RToWin, and he keeps beating me. What's going on?" And I was like, "I don't know, but clearly they're a good player." So how's it been for you, like to just come into the community like so recently, and then obviously then just to have basically wiped the floor with almost everybody who has come up against you,
including me?
Well, I felt quite a bit of pressure because after you start doing a bit well, and then you have one opportunity to be new to the community, define your own starting setup, and then try and win the tournament with it on your first go. So there was quite a bit of pressure from that direction that I was putting on myself. But yeah, I'm having faith in the event deck. It's done me very kindly this tournament mostly.
Yeah, as I was saying to Coverage, I think sometimes you make your own luck a little bit. You're in the right positions to capitalize when the event deck says, "Here you go, here's some nice stuff." But even then, like your win rate on Dracula was still very impressive. It's not as if you were very heavily skewed towards Hunters. I mean, I think was it Dracula it was like 9-3 or something, if I'm not mistaken, 10-3, something along those lines. Like that's still a really impressive win rate on both sides of the board. You're clearly like, to win a tournament like this, you need to be proficient on both.
Yeah, I lost 3 games as Dracula, but the games I did lose at Dracula, I think it does point towards when Hunters do play really well, then then my win rate as Dracula is quite low. Like against Mr. Green, Rakaziak, Pizzawizard, and then Pizzawizard again, those 4 hunter players, I won 1 out of 4.
Okay.
Against me, by the way, just to be clear, that was me.
Yeah, but I think it's fairly representative out of those 4 games as Dracula. I managed to win 1, right? Like in all of those games, I tried to do something either tricky or trappy, and it doesn't always work out. And 25% of the time it did, and it got kills and it worked.
Yeah, it's been interesting because this is like the 4th year that we've done like this tournament. We've always then had tournaments in like the first half of the year as well. But obviously the first 2 leagues that we ranked, I'll talk about just the leagues because the spring tournaments have always kind of been a little bit different. But the first 2 leagues were done pre-Immortal update, where basically the game got this huge update and it changed that the trail slides before Dracula moves, which is as per board game rules, but the original digital edition didn't do that. That's why it's a house rule and not base version. The combat screen got changed so that Hunter's combat cards were hidden, so you didn't know how many combat related ones were there. But then a lot of prompts would disappear, and there's other stuff. And Dracula's seeing the encounter hand. And what's been really strange to see is in all the leagues, the win rate has been pretty consistent at being like 52, 53 to then 48, 47 in Hunter favor. There hasn't been this huge shift in Hunter, win rate or Dracula win rate. And it always has kind of, even in the first league, before all the update happened, the players at the very, very top of the league, they were more proficient on Hunters. That gave them the edge if they were able to win games as Dracula and then win a vast majority of the games as Hunters. That hasn't really changed.
Yeah, could I? So I looked at the stats, and if you in the most recent tournament, the tournament we just played, if you divide people so firstly you divide each person into a Hunter player and a Dracula player. So you now have instead of having 20 people, you have 40 people factions. So like, yeah. And then look at everyone's win rates. Then divide them into categories. There's a category of like 60+% win rate, and this is greatly dominated by Hunters. There's then a 40 to 60% win rate that's shared pretty evenly between Hunters and Draculas. And then like a 10% to 40% win rate, hugely dominated by Draculas. People who just like keep on getting decimated by these efficient Hunters.
Right.
And then at the bottom you have this like 0% win rate, which is exclusively Hunters who haven't overcome the learning curve on how to hunt Dracula.
I guess the top bracket, the 60% plus win rate, even though it's dominated by Hunters, that faction must be very small, I'd presume, compared to the other brackets.
There's quite a few. It's about a similar size to like say the 40 to 60.
Interesting.
Wow.
But there's quite a few Hunter players who have a 60+% win rate.
Okay. It'd be interesting to see the
That
numbers
might explain.
Yeah,
that might explain some of what we've seen in the shift in the community, where it feels like anyone could win any game almost. When you're just looking at the tournament as a whole and you're seeing who's collecting wins. So I wonder if that's aided, because I know that early on, this was going back at least 2 years, there was this conception that we could see that there seemed to be a shift towards better Hunter play, giving the edge to the more experienced players. And that seemed to then be a little bit contradicted by some of the results afterwards. But I think if you're talking about like a general raising of skill level, that might then help explain what's going on with that sort of disappearing. I don't really know.
I don't know. It's tough because there's always been the historical conception, or perception, I should say, was before we started doing tournaments and stuff, was that Dracula was the OP one, but that was before people got into the rhythm of the meta and understanding how. So if you look at like the old Board Game Geek, pages and stuff before Quincy Morris started doing his videos, it'd always be Dracula's OP. It's like, well, no, it's just because the hunters to play efficiently need to play this particular way, and now it's starting to shift. And then because of that, there's been so much more focus on what hunter players have to do to win, and there's a lot more resource available, where I think maybe the part of the problem is then there's not maybe a lot of Dracula resources to try and combat that. And obviously, like we've seen even in the game just now, when it goes badly for Dracula, it can go badly really quickly, whereas hunters can have a bad time, but they can kind of recover if they've got enough, patience and resources, and a couple of things just click their way, they can recover, and then they can win at the very death of the game, but that's still a hunter win. The big issue is going to be, what do you do about it? Because the only way is like you somehow nerf hunters, but I don't know how we can do that in a way that's not going to be unfun. You know what I mean? Like, you could just say, oh, well, then they have to skip their first X number of turns, but that's not fun for anybody.
Yeah.
But then
we're not allowed to play consecrated grounds, that do.
Well, do you ban something like that? Do you take something away, or do you just try and give Dracula more resources? But that's really tough. I mean, we've talked about it in the community quite a bit, like particular changes that could be made, but yeah, it's just interesting. I mean, the overall win rate, I can say now, the overall win rate for this tournament is now like 53.5% for the hunters. So it's still, when you look at it like that, it's still fairly even, but the trend that you've told us, RToWin, that was the trend that we saw back in 2022, before all the updates. So the update hasn't changed anything. So it's changed a little bit about how the game is played and how people act in certain situations, but the overall result is the same. In terms of the people at the very top are able to win the vast majority of their games on hunters, and they're the ones with the high win rate.
I will also point out, because this is something that Strider, another member of the community, will always talk to me about, is that the way that this tournament is set up, where you have one hunter player versus one Dracula player, does sort of give a little bit of an edge to the hunter player, just in the ability to conceal information and conceive of a game plan and how you're approaching things. Because the communication between players aspect, when you have more than one person as a hunter, just fundamentally changes the way things go at the table.
Yeah, it's huge. Like the fact that I know all of my items. I know whether Van Helsing has drawn a stake before. Like I knew to give Seward a Heavenly Host to be a makeshift stake, because I wanted to send him across, because Van Helsing doesn't have a stake yet, and otherwise I would have to tell Dracula that Van Helsing doesn't have a stake yet, if I wanted to know that information instantly.
Exactly. And even like the counter argument to that would be, well, there's a steeper learning curve because a player has to sit down and try and get their head around controlling 4 hunters and trying to remember all the items. But once you break that initial hurdle and you become very proficient at it, you're just away then, and it just becomes almost like autopilot. You know exactly what every hunter has, and you can formulate all those plans in your head. As you said, you don't have to tell anybody. You don't have to convince another player. No, I really need this item because of reasons. You don't have to do that. You're just like, yep, give me that. I'm just gonna give that stuff to that hunter, and I know I can do well with it. So it's.
I think another aspect of that group, like you said, RToWin, the hunters, obviously you don't have one hive mind who knows everything all the time, but also I think if you have to, I think as a community, when we play group games, I've heard the strategy as hunters is to just be very open with most things, and I think that gives Dracula a lot more information about what exactly he's going up against, because right now Dracula can glean things by like the way the hunters move and like the actions they take and how long they wait for prompts, but I don't think that really compensates for not being able to hear players talk about what they have, what they think they can do, what they think they can't do. If Dracula had more information, maybe he would be able to come up with a better game plan to actively deal with what the hunters have more of the time.
Yeah, Pizzawizard, I'm not sure if you noticed, but Lord Gadami and Mina were both using both of their night actions to trade, just to attempt to hide the fact that my tickets were for them perfect. Did you notice?
Once we got to that late in the game, I was looking less at them and more at my people that were stabbing me that took out 66% of my HP in one fight, which is a mistake on my part. I probably should have been paying more attention to the two of them. I was looking at Mina's event because that's the low-hanging fruit. I don't know if I was thinking about what their night actions were. I was looking at Van Helsing's night action. I cared about that guy because him trading events around was important.
Poor guy. He was in the process of writing his own obituary. He wasn't interested in what was going on in Munich.
Look, but that's right. I mean, you should never pass, right? When you have two of them together, just always do something. Like, why would you ever pass if you have two of them together? It's just, it's giving free information that you're perfectly set up.
From the double trade, is he really misclicking his first trade every round? Probably not.
We didn't spot that.
Funny if I had noticed it.
That would have given us a laugh if we'd spot. None of us had spotted it, so yeah. It went under the radar.
Say something in chat like, "Yeah, Mina and Godalming having a good trade over there." Oh, that would have been funny.
So I think
but that is one of the things. That is one of the things that's like the first thing to go out the window, right? Because I've played in a number of community games. That's how I prefer to play, just for fun and in a group. And one of the first things that happens is it's like, okay, we're going to completely forget about obfuscating horse economy, right? There's other things that we might want to try and keep close to the chest, but horse economy, who cares? Like, they can know that the tickets are now, like, all the white ones are now out of the pool.
Right, because we've never played like group games competitively. We had a thing, I don't know what happened in terms of why this fell off, but I remember after the very first league, that then Christmas like holiday period after that, we had so many group games because a lot of them got recorded and they were all like really good and they were just played for laughs. There was no like seriousness involved, even though we were trying to win. But we've never done like a competitive, but it's just because trying to organize
logistics
that
are too hard.
Yeah, logistics gonna be tough, and then potentially you might alienate certain people who can't play for whatever reason. So it's just
and then if you need to
tough.
Communicate as a team and you don't speak the same language,
right, and then time, right? Because it's going to be even a greater time sink. You're looking at like you have to allow 3 hours for it and not 2 hours or whatever. So it just I don't know. If to organize it as a tournament, it's going to be tough to do. We tried to have a thing where we did one per week during the summer months, but it didn't really kick off as much as we thought it might do. So I don't know what happened that particular winter of 2022. Everyone was just playing lots of group games and they were good fun. Hopefully that can come back again. But yeah, I can't. I mean, we can see what we can do. But yeah, I feel at least the majority of tournament play is going to have to be remaining as 1v1. So it might just have to be a case of we bring back the dark hole rule or try and twist Nomad's arm a little bit to Pizza Wizard getting flashbacks. Don't worry, I suffered it too, Pizza Wizard. So I mean,
Gatstar was the most against bringing back the Dark Hall rule after that tournament. He was like, never again.
I don't even know if Dark Hall made Dracula better. I just think it made the game more swingy. I didn't like that. I don't like the game being more swingy. It makes me feel like I have less agency.
If we can, I don't know.
Hunters have less agency, right? Because Dracula can do a thing that can make them win the game.
Exactly. Yes.
Which is, but it means Dracula has at least some agency from a poor position. I could dark call and draw darkness returns.
True.
If on average it's not very good, like if on average it's like a losing play for him, like I don't know, I haven't looked at all of the Dracula events extensively because we don't see all of them very often, but I feel like if like less than half of them are very good, and then you also need one to be on top, so you can't do it whenever you want, right? You need to do it, when you're in a position to lose 2 HP and not put down an encounter. But if it's like strictly worse for him than putting down an encounter, like I don't know, 30% of the time, which I feel like is very conservative, like is that good for that option to be in the game? I don't know. It's definitely a conversation to be had.
I think I was going to say when I played in Duos and Dark Halls, I only played as Hunters. Did you do the same? Did you only play Hunters, Pizza Wizard?
I think I played like Dracula like against Snuff, and then he won, and I was very sad. But I remember that when I was playing Dracula in that tournament, I was like, I'm gonna Dark Hall because it's something new. Like it's spicing up the game. And I want to do it because I think it's fun. It is fun. I'll give it that. Gambling is fun. Being like I might get something really nice is really fun.
I think if you're playing just one side and having to be up again, because I mean again I'll keep ranting about this. I drew like the worst luck in terms of that. I had to deal with Emmanuel Hildesheim twice in one game. Wizardkaja got unearthly swiftness, and then he got seduction in the other game and just killed me, and that basically killed me off for the entire game. I had to play against wild horses for like most of the game against Tiebreaker, and I'm just like, get me out of this hell. But if you're then playing where you in the other half of your games, you play with the rule, then you'll be like, oh, you see it as a different perspective, I guess. And maybe it's a case of just you having to adjust to it. There's an adjustment period where at the moment, hunters are just so used to Dracula not getting events, unless there's a hoax mature, like yesterday. But ordinarily, that wouldn't be the case. But maybe we can try and twist Nomad's arm of trying to put in some house rules that might be able to buff Dracula a little bit in different ways. But that might be the only way, right? Without a full rework. But I don't know. It's a tough thing.
You could force hunters to start in certain. You could put restrictions on how the hunters can start. That could be a way to make them worse. You could. I mean, I know.
I don't think RToWin would be happy with that.
Well, right, but
I mean,
if we want to increase variance, like if you're like no hunter can start in the same city as another hunter, like you could just say that, and then that would make hunters start worse. I would argue, right? Because you'd go back to like the Quincy Morris start of I need to put someone in Vienna and someone in Munich, and then I need to move someone over, and then they're just like taking away day action. Would that even be enough? I don't know, but
no, I don't think so.
There are some dials we can turn. I think without more.
All of them start in England for a thematic reason.
Okay, sure, yeah.
We do that anyway.
Yeah.
It's the next stage in the evolutionary process. We got 3 hunters together. What about 4? What about 4? It's a matter of time.
No, I seriously looked at that. It's not a good idea.
It's not a good idea. Yeah.
Then England starts viable. There'll be no local rumours in England then. Yeah.
Yeah, but then there's like 3 large areas of the map that are viable, like England, Spain, and the East. Can't do that.
Right. Coming back to obviously the result of this game, no pressure RToWin, but now that you've come in, you've taken the community by storm, you've won a tournament, are you just gonna walk off into the sunset now and be like, that's it, I've done my job, I'm out of here, I'm gonna go discover something else, or do you think you're gonna stick around and try and innovate a little bit more? What do you think?
I'll stick around for a bit, but not. I'm going to take a little bit of a break, maybe to the next tournament or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's understandable. I don't expect you to sign up to another tournament tomorrow.
Yeah.
We all need a good break. Well, there is a spring tournament in the works. I won't reveal the structure of it yet, but
a teaser or a little bit of a hint of something maybe.
Let's put it this way: it's going to feature old and new formats. If Snuff and Philly and I agree on the format, but it will not be like Immortal Invitational and Duels and Dark Halls. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Got it.
But we all deserve a break, and it'll be around probably, I don't know, we'll have to work out on timing too and how long the tournament will run and everything, but it won't be until at least February until we announce something. So there's like plenty of downtime, and we'll see what happens. Mm-hmm. So yeah. And what about you, Pizzawizard?
No, it's been a long 4 years. I won once 2 years ago. It's only been 3 years actually, 2022 to 2025, so 3 years. Won one time, get in the finals twice. Once defeated by you, once defeated by this fine gentleman right here. Maybe my time's come. Maybe it's time to go out on the ice flow and float off. I don't know if I'd be walking off into the sunset, because I think that implies that you have like some amount of dignity. I might just float away gracefully. You'll probably see me around. I don't know. This game, I still have a lot of fun playing this game, and I think that's the core of why I've stuck around as long as I have. But I'm also happy that RToWin won. I think it is exciting to see someone new rather than just have like some sort of despot on top, always winning everything. That is nice. It is nice to see new people win, and I think I don't know. It's heavily up for contention. I think what Kajik put in the Discord somewhere, like Pizzawizard's burned out, and he might have put it a little bit strongly. But the core, the ember of that idea is definitely there. But it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of good people doing it. I would probably say better chance than not that you'll see me. If you stick around watching Scott's Fury of Dracula, that you might see me. I might still be there. We'll see.
Just your solution. This is the solution that I found. Just find like really critical life events that stop you from playing, so you just naturally take a break. Just like do things like get married and then have a baby, and it'll be like, well, I can't compete now, and then you come back refreshed for the next time. So
that is one unfortunate side effect. Is I definitely don't play friendly like I don't really play friendly games anymore. Like ever since the tournament, like I'll do the tournament, I'll go really hard for like a couple months, and then I just won't play for a couple months because I'm just like I'm a little bit. I've been playing Fury of Dracula so like fiercely, and I just the fun like the leisureliness of it has faded, which
but I'd say
I don't know.
I think it's still also very impressive that you've made it like so far into this tournament without really playing a lot of friendly games in between.
It's like riding a bike, you know. You hit the supply button a certain number of times. Your key, you have a shortcut on your keyboard. You just hit that button. Easy peasy. No, I don't know. It's just good gamesmanship, I guess. I'm not playing this, but I'm playing other things that maybe I have some transferable skills.
I mean, I can't complain about you not playing because the same with me. I can't remember the last time. But the last friendly game I played was probably against RToWin about 3 months ago. Because yeah, it's just ended up just playing other stuff. But yeah, I always need to keep coming back to this game. But yeah, it is very intense. So hopefully, you know, if there's a new tournament format, that might mix things up a little bit and get people interested. But yeah. There's only so much we can do with the game in its, you know, current format. Nomad, if you're listening, rope is in. Oh, Snuff saying the finals make him want to play more. They were. I mean, I was gonna say the third game obviously was just very swingy because of the stuff that happened. But like in between, this game was enjoyable. But the 2 games yesterday were just phenomenal. They were very well.
I'm really happy we had 2 really good games. That makes me really. I was really worried RToWin would just pub stomp me twice, and then it would be like, well, finals are over. At least this way, we had 2 really satisfying games, and this game was short, and swingy, like you said. But I'm glad we had a good 2 out of 3. You know, those 2, I feel really good about both of those games. Maybe not as much about the first one, but you know, pretty good. Pretty good about both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand Philly. Philly's saying in chat that the tournaments are time-consuming and mentally exhausting. That's true. That's true. If you've got like other stuff on, then it's tough. If you like make the tournament your priority, like me, you know, then it's fine. But if you've got so much other stuff going on, you can fully understand not being able to commit to it. But at the same time, you know, it's kind of difficult with the formats because we can't play more than 2 games a week. So it's kind of like, well, we could up the number of games per week to make the tournament last a short amount of time, but then some people might not be able to play 3 or 4 games a week, and then that restricts the number of people who can play. So it's a really awkward balance that I have to kind of... And also because the games are longer, right? As a comparison with the Wingspan community, they've got tournaments like ongoing all year, like almost every 3 weeks they're announcing new tournaments, but just because also they've got a bigger pool of players to pick from. So if some people don't compete, it doesn't matter because they've still got 100 still like, you know, queuing up to participate every time, whereas we've got a very, very small pool. So it's trying to find a format which will mean that the majority of the current player base, or a large number of the current player base, will be keen to play. So it's a tough balance. It's a tough balance, but we shall see. As I said, we all deserve a break. That's for sure, and we'll see what happens in the first half of 2026. And yeah, Snuff and Philly and I will go to the drawing board. I've got an idea kicking around, and we'll see if they approve of it, and then we'll announce it when the time is right. Oh yeah, Snuff just making a point, and I wondered what you two thought about it. Do you think it made it easier that you're knowing, even though it was quite random in terms of what opponents you'd be up against? Did it help that you knew all 7 of your first opponents right at the very beginning, so you could plan things out? Or
yeah, it did kind of help with scheduling, like you know, on a week when you like on leave or don't have work or whatever, then you can maybe try and pull a game forward or something, especially if you know it's going to be like a game against an American, and therefore it's much easier if you do it on a day when you don't have work at the time when they're awake or whatever. It did make it easier that way. And also I think particularly the American England matchups being in like week 1, 3, 5, it was like 2, 4, 6, and 8. No, 2, 4, and 6.
Yep.
It was nice to have those split up, right? Because it's kind of awkward organizing the game across the Atlantic Ocean. It's quite big and time zones. So not having to do that in consecutive weeks was very convenient.
okay. Oh, that's good.
I very much I agree with what he said. I think scheduling wise, it's a huge lifesaver. Like, or it's a huge time. It just makes things much easier, right? If you know that you're gonna have trouble on a certain week, you can schedule it ahead of time. You know, if you know that a time zone is gonna be difficult because like the Atlantic, or you know, for some other reason, you know, it's gonna be difficult to schedule. It just lets you plan ahead more for games, which I thought was really nice. I think it led to the tournament. I mean, the tournament ended on time, right? I think we even ended a lot of the phases earlier than planned because people were able to like kind of play ahead. Unless you would know more about that than me, but I think I remember a bunch of things ended early.
Yeah, I think in the end, like this final got played. When before the tournament even started, I was predicting that the final would be played this weekend. But obviously, it could have been played a week earlier. But I know you're away, Pizzawizard. That's fine. Like it's not a problem. But you know, in theory, it could have finished earlier than this weekend. But this was like the time I was like, yep, this is the weekend I was hoping it would finish. But then it's yeah, a lot of the phases finished early, and I was worried that the knockout phase would take a while. But it actually went through really smoothly this year. So, if people like, I know it made it so that you didn't have as many opponents based upon your league position. So maybe some people might argue, oh well, but I haven't seen anybody argue that their opponents that they were given were unfair or whatever. But the more and more, you know, opponents you can know in advance, I feel that if that helps people out, then and I get the regional thing. I think that wasn't a thing that I was planning to have for this, but it was just. Because when we looked at the numbers, it was kind of like, oh my god, it's kind of fallen on our lap a little bit that there's this really nice divide between the two different sides of the Atlantic, so we can very easily do some sort of regional groupings. So as soon as it became evident that we could do that, it was a no-brainer in the end. So it's something we might look at doing again.
I do have a complaint for the matchmaking, you know. My opponents were fine, but RToWin getting matched against all the easy people so that he can claim that, oh, I just got an easy path to the final, you know.
Oh.
No, I'm not actually like the smoke screen of I just got good matchmaking versus the facts, which we've ultimately determined today that he's just very good at the game. I have contention with that.
No, but I think I have had an easy path to the final, relatively speaking.
But I don't think that's why you're here, RToWin. I don't think that's why you're here. I think.
I think if I'd have like had, who was your first match opponent, Pizzawizard?
Ooh, I do not remember.
In the knockouts.
In the knockouts.
Combat Wombat.
Combat. It's Combat Wombat.
Right. So if I have Combat Wombat seed at the start of a tournament, at the start of the knockouts, and no one else moves, like me and Combat Wombat swap, then I think my odds of winning the tournament go down substantially, like hugely.
Wow.
Like I've got to beat Pizzawizard, and then presumably Mr. Green, and then presumably was a Kaziak. I don't think my odds of winning any of those matchups is like particularly high. If it was a coin flip each time, then that would be like 1 in 8.
Right. Right, because like let's say the IDS tie goes down differently. Like cause Hunters did. I mean, it's weird that actually in my knockouts, I feel like Dracula was winning more than Hunters, which was I didn't kind of bucked the norm. But in our games, right, Hunters won. I mean, Hunters won all 3 games. Yeah, and it was kind of just like who could get better IDS in their 2 games to then have Hunters in the 3rd one.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, I bet you're regretting Sophia now, right?
Oh, I'm regretting Sophia.
Oh, you had to stick the knife in a little bit deeper, didn't you?
Fine. I'm so mad. I should have just taken the time. You know what? This is a disclaimer, guys. Be like RToWin. He won. Clearly, it's the method of winners. Take a second. Plan out what you're gonna do with your turn. You know, look at your options. Don't just try to play on the fly. It's not good. Not a good idea. Mistakes happen.
There you go. Well, we'll let you two go. But thank you again for 3 exceptionally entertaining games, and just being really good sports throughout this tournament in general, and for making it to the final was a great achievement. As we saw, a lot of high seeds fell in the knockout phase, so getting a high seed did not guarantee anything. So you made it through, you battled your way to the final, so that in itself is amazing. And congratulations again to both of you, but especially to RToWin. I will make the necessary edits on Discord. And add you in.
Oh, he's gonna join our club of gold names. So they don't let anybody in these days. No. He totally deserves it.
We get a new name on the gold name rolls.
We do. A new name on the Hall of Champions.
This is an occasion an occasion for celebration.
Absolutely indeed. So yeah, well done to both of you. Congrats, RToWin again. Excellent tournament, and yeah, hopefully we'll see you both in another tournament at some point in the near future, or at least around in the community and participating with memes and comments or whatever. So yeah, thanks again to you both.
No, thank you for organising Scott Sword and the other admins.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thanks for everything. Sorry, Mr. Green, that I let you down. I was thinking about that as I figured out I lost the game. I was like, man, Mr. Green, what is he thinking right now?
I needed
Sad.
you to win, so I felt better about my own loss. But yeah.
Oh, so that was all it was. You could just say, oh, well, at least I lost to the eventual champion, so it's fine.
Yes, that was what
You would have been. You know, you heard RToWin. He was saying he thought you were a tough matchup. You know, I mean,
Yes.
you definitely would have won the game. You know, it's a played spoiler, unfortunately. Dang it. It's all right. Have a good one, you guys.
Rook and Mr. Green, thank you again for joining for the commentary today. Very enjoyable.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it was fun to be here.
And lastly, I hope I can speak for Snuff and Philly here. I'll do so on their behalf, and they can chip in if they disagree. But thank you to everybody who has participated in this tournament in terms of if you were playing, or doing commentary, or streaming, or just promoting it, or putting memes in the Discord related to the tournament, and also the folks at Nomad, because I did see they were promoting stuff as well. These tournaments only work because of people's commitment to them, whether they're participating or, you know, supporting it, you know, outside of participating in it. So, as I say, yeah, this community wouldn't function without everybody's, you know, goodwill and volunteering their time and whatever. So, and all that. So, thank you so much. It's very joyful when we get to the end of a tournament and we know that 99% of it has worked well, and the couple of things that didn't work well, well, then we can learn from it, or we can, you know, look back on all the other bits of it fondly. So yeah, thank you everybody for this League of Dracula, and yeah. There will be another tournament, hopefully, at the beginning of 2026, but we will have at least a month or two of break, and then we'll just see what happens, and we'll announce it when the time is right. And then, in terms of me doing Fury of Dracula stuff, we'll see what happens in the next few weeks and months. We'll see. You might see me competing again. We'll see. But anyway, take everybody on YouTube and everybody who's on Twitch. Thank you for watching. We're signing off. See you in another game. Another video very soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.